hello, hello. Good evening, beautiful ladies. I'm so excited about this and talking about, wow, a journey that it's already for me, it's already quite a journey, to be honest. And going through Egypt and also sharing it tonight with you and sharing what the upcoming journey will mean. And it's very interesting because we talk about journeys, and this one is very fun because we will obviously do a physical journey. It's very interesting. I called it the goddess retreat, but I think it's like we have to understand we are on a journey, like not like, I mean, every journey, like every retreat is a journey in terms of transformation and the exercises and everything that we're doing and the initiations. However, in this case, we will be also physically traveling around Egypt. And before I start into going like into all of this, let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me yet. So my name is Eva. I'm a coach for femininity, sexuality, and yeah, I'm a theta healer, and I've been doing this for many, many years now, and I'm totally loving it. I'm very passionate about the sacred sexuality. I personally believe the female body is absolutely amazing. Yeah, I don't know how to express it in really nice words. I feel like the women's body is like a magical wonder being, it's such a beautiful gift from the divine to be born in a female body. However, in our societies we're living in, we are like raised and conditioned very, very differently around that. And I'm feeling returning to our sexuality and returning to our female body and returning to our, yeah, loving ourselves, loving our bodies is really the work we should be doing. It's very interesting. We invest in so many different things and business coaching and, well, many, many things, but really going down to sexuality is really that what we should be actually starting at. Normally it gets the other way around. People make it the other way around. They start with many other things and then they come to sexuality. However, like when we talk about sexuality, it's really this topic of, yeah, connecting to our life force energy, reconnecting with ourselves, reconnecting with our fuel, and really coming home to ourselves and bringing this outwards and working with sexual energy, really understanding this concept, really, let's how say it, it removes all many other work that we can be doing, because really, like when we are home, when we are feeling beautiful, when we are in our juiciness and everything else is easy, everything else is effortless. It's like, wow, like, and like this, I always say, this feeling when you had an orgasm and you feel like so nice and you're still high and you're still in this vibrance, you go, and even situations that used to be so annoying for you, like say you like in a traffic jam or something, you don't care. All of a sudden everything is like, oh, whatever. And I swear, when you really think about that, right, in these moments things are coming easily to you. You think about a dress, all of a sudden the dress is there, like, I mean, I'm a little bit exaggerating, but no, I'm not actually, like things are easy. Like when we are really in this stiffness, I'm also calling it, when we coming into like a stiffness as women, like being these, I call it the penis energy. Like, don't get me wrong, while I'm enjoy and appreciate very much a hard penis, living my life out of that energy, however, is a very, very different thing, right? So actually, as women, we really want to be in that divine flow and that beautiful, yeah, softness and playing, like obviously we need to, like, not only needing, we love the divine masculine and everything. However, like we really also want to be in that softness, loving ourselves, loving our sexuality. And that's why I'm so passionate about this trip to Egypt, because like it's such a long, old ancient culture. Like, I mean, it's like 4,000 years, 5,000 years ago now, right? And in that old civilization, the feminine was really worshipped, and it was worshipped out of a very different place. It was not like this, oh, women are good and men are bad. That's not what I'm saying. It was really out of this energy of honoring, of really celebrating life. And I think among all these ancient traditions, like in Egypt, the main focus was really freedom and love. So, you know, like, and when you really think about that, freedom and love, when you just sink into these words, it's something when you're like, oh, your whole system relaxes, right? It's not anymore about being better, being worse, or whatever. It's like, ah. So yeah, I pulled a card before I started this webinar, and I was like, so what's this journey about? Like, I mean, I obviously channeled many things before already about this journey, and I'm going to share many like things with you. But I think it's very, very beautiful what the card is saying. It's the initiation. And when I think about the initiation, and I'm just going to read to you like the very brief, a couple of sentences. Some of the most sacred initiations chambers and temples look scary from the outside, but are breathtaking beautiful on the inside. It's very beautiful, right? Because we will be visiting a lot of temples in Egypt, and some of them are really like, I mean, some of them are very well preserved, and some of them are really just stones, and it's very interesting. And this represents a journey that the soul pilgrim is required to take to reach somewhere sacred, but only the initiated can enter. And perhaps that's where you are now. And perhaps that's also the reason why you're here tonight. Or when you catch the replay, so why you catch also the replay. And I think it's very beautiful. Like when I initially thought about this trip of Egypt and I tuned into this energy, I kept hearing, and I'm still hearing one word really, and it says expansion. It's not anymore like when we think about initiation, many times we also think about awakening. However, the energy of this trip and this energy of whoever is meant to be going to Egypt this year, it is all about expansion. It is a soul calling. It's very interesting. Like these women who are coming, these women who are really drawn to this kind of journey, it will be not a logical decision. Let's call it like that. It's something that's where you feel like, I must be there. I must go there. And it's not a coincidence, by the way, right? Like Egypt, this energy, it's amazing. This land carries so many beautiful codes and energies. These temples, they speak like Egypt really is like a walking regression. It's very, very interesting. However, we are in year 2022, right? Which is a master year. And many old souls are being called this year to go to Egypt. And it's not a coincidence. And I mean, it's going on since 2017 that many people have been, you know, being called to Egypt. But particularly this year, many souls, many people, well, many souls who know that they are old souls, who feel inside of them somehow that going to Egypt is a soul calling. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to see the pyramid. Yes, we're going to see the pyramid and we even have private access. So yes, but it's not like the Hoganda all-inclusive holiday and maybe we go diving, you know, it's a very different energy. It's a very different trip. And it's really something that you cannot logically describe. It's really something where you just feel, I feel it. I feel I have to go there. It doesn't make sense. And it must be this year. And that's exactly what I channeled. And it's very interesting. I cannot tell you exactly the answer why you have to go there. That's something that you will discover for yourself there, because you will also realize people, tomorrow actually on my Instagram account, I will be going live and with a friend that I met when I was on a journey in Egypt, and she will share her experiences. And when I share my experiences, even though we have been on the same trip, we all have different experiences, because in the end, the answer I got from when I was connecting to it, to the guides, and I said like, okay, so these women who are coming to Egypt, this group that, you know, I'm calling in and, you know, that is coming together on this beautiful trip, what are they looking for? Like, what's the main reason for them to come? And the answer I really got was, it's a soul calling, Eva. It's an answer. They get like a call and they know they have to go. And the information, the codes, the keys that are stored in the temples, that are stored in the land, that are carried in the pyramids, that are carried in the Sphinx. For each of you, it will be different. We will be there together as a group. However, the experiences will be very unique. And it's very interesting. And then there's something more that I received, and it was really about union. We're going into union. And that's also the reason why we have to go, like why we not like we have to go, but why so many souls are being called this year to go to Egypt. Because really, like when we look into the collective, what is happening in the collective, we are still in the middle of chaos, right? However, when you really tune into this energy, it's evolving, it's changing a lot. And the energy we are going towards is union. We're going with this old paradigm of patriarchy, matriarchy, this whole paradigm of blaming, of victimhood, of, you know, fighting against each other, whatever, like all these energies of toxic masculinity, of toxic femininity, this, you know, this femininity, this wound of sisterhood wound, this victimhood story, all of this is going to collapse. We are all being asked to evolve, to expand. So it's really going into a different layer of our whole self, of our evolution. And most of the people who are joining are actually healers, coaches, medicine women, priestesses, goddesses, like whatever, you know, but many of these people, like many of these women are already in service of the divine, and they know it very well. So it's one step is really for this own growth of spiritual growth and development. And the other one is really also like when we are so much in service, when we are so much in giving, it's easy to be also like, oh, okay, yeah, I take, you know, my next development, I take it later. But our soul has her own blueprint, right? She will tell us when it's time. And it's really something that it's absolutely aligned. And it's very beautiful because we are going just after Mercury retrograde, and we're going into eclipse season, which is in the energy of Aries. So we will be actually traveling through a very, very strong energy, which will really support beautiful development, really. Like, you know, like it will be, we're going into eclipse season, then there will be a lunar solar eclipse. There will be for sure eclipse end of our trip. So it will be beautiful energy to play with all of that and to really go into our next level. And yeah, when I want to share a little bit, I give you some things what happened when I was in Egypt a couple of years ago. And then I'm also going to share what our journey will look like so that you get a better idea. When I've been to Egypt, like it's now 3 years ago. Yeah, 2000, or maybe, no, 2019. Yeah, 3 years ago. God. It was a time in my life where it absolutely didn't make sense for me to go. I didn't have the money. The trip was so expensive for me. It felt absolutely out of my budget. It was, Rose is coming. She's been there with me as well. It's nice. When I've been there, so it was logically, it didn't make sense. I didn't have the money. It was absolutely out of my comfort zone to go, to be honest. It was financially, it was such a stretch. Everybody was telling me, don't go, you don't have the money. Like, you know, it would have been so easy for me to not to go. Like the outside reasons were really going, don't go. And however, my soul was really like, no, you have to go. I didn't know why. And then I remembered, like when I meditate, when I do a lot of things, I'm very, very visual. And during my awakening stage and during different practices, I always saw different pictures. And I had always this little flashbacks. Some of these flashbacks are in these kind of temples now. It's very interesting. So I didn't see this, I didn't connect all of this, but I kept seeing the Eye of Horus. I kept seeing the Eye of Horus constantly. And not only the Eye of Horus, I kept seeing it also how it is in the dollar with the, in the pyramid. And I was like, wow. So then a friend of mine, months later, she actually sends me an information on a retreat in Ibiza. I didn't even look at that retreat. I saw the woman is offering a retreat in Egypt, and I knew instantly I have to go. It was so interesting. And my soul was really, really pushing me to go there. And I made it happen. I really, even if I think about it now, I even cannot tell you logically how I made it happen. I just knew I have to go and it needs to be possible. I gathered this money. It was kind of like a little miracle. Everybody said I'm absolutely crazy that I'm doing it, but I had to do it. And Egypt was such a big trip for me, for my spiritual development, like going through all these temples, going through all these different scenarios. It was really, really amazing. And my whole capabilities in terms of spiritual capabilities really opened up a lot, like in different, like then, like what I shared with you, like all these pictures I kept seeing, I saw them at different temples, I saw different things. And now all of a sudden, since what I have been processing for maybe 6, 8 months, even a year, all of a sudden came together in Egypt. And like in different places, I got like, all of a sudden I got like past life memories. And everybody who has been there, like Rose's life here now, she would probably say the same. We had so many, it was like really like a walking regression, and it was amazing. And it really connected me so much with my sexual energy. I was already a sex coach back then, but it really opened me up like much, much more. Like after Egypt, in the middle of the night, I kept waking up with instant orgasms without doing any breath work, without playing on myself, without nothing. Just all of a sudden waking up and having a massive orgasm. I mean, alone that, I can't wait to go back there just for this. To be honest, it was amazing. And like it made my clairvoyance, because like as I shared, like everything for me is very visual. My clairvoyance got so much better, and my manifestations powers increased, and many things really aligned quickly in a good way. I mean, it was also quite a journey, to be honest, but it was amazing. And yeah, it's very, very difficult, to be honest, to find proper words for that, for something that is happening so much inside of you, and you really know your soul is putting you there, and you go through different things. And it's very interesting, like we would be sharing after, like what we saw, what we experienced at these different temples. And it was so unique for all of us. It was so interesting. And all these different temples and places carry very much different energies. So whatever your soul desires from that, you will get that for sure. Like for this, whatever it's meant for you to be found there, to be created there, to be born there, to be expanded. I feel, because, like I'm feeling when I was there, it was more my awakening stage. However, I'm feeling like these women who are joining now will be not really more that much like awakening. It's like more involved, but it's expansion. It's really, and as I'm saying, it's more going into unity. So we will be, that's why we also start with the pyramid. We actually start in Cairo. I was thinking about it, if we really want to start in Cairo or not. And yeah, but I'm feeling it's good to start in Cairo. And connect with the energy of the pyramids, like right away. We also go into the king's chamber, like we have private access in the Grand Pyramid. And alone this, I must say, is already such a unique experience. It's like I had I got so connected. Like for me, one of my spirit guides is Marie Magdalena, and I saw her. She was passing me on a lot of information. It was amazing. So alone, that is amazing. Like having private access in the pyramid, it's like, wow. It's like really, really wow. It's like, I promise you, this is a journey you will never forget. It's honestly a wow journey. And yeah, so we start with that. We will start with an opening ceremony there. We go through the pyramid, and it's very interesting because the energies of the pyramids are crazy. It's such a strong energy. So I was debating if we want to start with it or not, but I'm feeling, since it is about expansion, it will open you up. It will open you up like right away into the, your crown chakra, your root chakra, whatever, like everything. And then we stay 2 nights in Cairo. We have a beautiful hotel there. Like, it depends where we go exactly, but it will be for sure either the Steigenberger or the Marriott. It's like right at the pyramid. It's also nice. Like, I remembered also going on this balcony and seeing the pyramids when you wake up, seeing sunset and sunrise at the pyramids. I was like, wow, I can't believe it, And again, like, from my perspective back then, like, being really, really broken and going there, I was like, wow. And yeah, then we have one night in the desert. We go to the desert, and I feel this is beautiful to, before we continue our journey, especially after the experience in the pyramid in the beginning, where we will really ground, where we will kind of arrive, where we really come back into the group, and where we also open up our root and our sacral chakra. Because what's also important for you to know, when we go on this journey, yes, we're going to go through all these places, but as I said, I'm a sex coach, so you can obviously expect a lot of sexuality topics coming up. And it's very interesting, since I'm preparing for this retreat myself, all my channels are opening about Egyptian Tantra. I all of a sudden remember things where I'm thinking, I don't know where I remember this from. And I'm getting, like, it's very interesting. Beginning of this year, I had a Akashic reading, and this lady opened up this book and she was like, I don't have access to this book. I cannot open it. Like, you will see it. And it's very interesting how it landed. And all of a sudden you just know. And it's very interesting because normally when we think about Tantra, we think about Hindu Tantra or maybe Tao Tantra, but nobody would think about Egypt and Tantra. However, in Egyptian culture, in this old ancient culture, sexuality was really what it is. Like, it's very interesting how it changed now with this Muslim religion, right? But really, in that kind of culture, it was really this openness, this fire. People would go to these temples to have initiations, to have celebrations. Sexuality was really seen as the sacred force that it is, right? It was really this channeling, this divine union, connecting heaven and earth at the same time, learning how to use these energies throughout our bodies. So, what I shared, like, like these instantaneous orgasms in the middle of the night, this was also like a remembrance just of my body, right? Back then I didn't, like, I mean, I do a lot of breath work and everything. I know these kind of techniques, but your body knows that. And once you enter through these different temples and these different chambers and everything, your body will just remember. And this is really, really beautiful. So yeah, knowing this, yeah, so that's why we start also in the desert, because I'm feeling like after the strong energy of the pyramid, it would be nice to ground and really open up the fluids, the sacral energy, the root chakra, to really be like, oh, actually, let's opening it up, right, in a safe way. And that's why I also made it just women, to really feel this connection of sisterhood, this feeling, this energy of being supported. I think there's something just magical if women are coming together. It's just so nurturing, and I'm feeling, like, whatever we do it for the collective, and it really heals the sisterhood topic, this jealousy between women and everything. Because really, when women are in this beautiful divine energy, we don't feel that anymore. We don't have that, right? We really feel in this beautiful flow and caring for each other and nurturing for each other. And really, like, when we have this kind of connection with other women in a non-sexual way, it really also allows us to open ourselves up more for intimacy with us, intimacy with a partner, right? Because we also have the support of this divine sisterhood connection, right? And now it's like physical, but really knowing and feeling this, it's so nurturing. Yeah. So after the desert, we actually take an inland flight. So it's also important to know when you pack, please don't pack overweight, because this is not covered. And we fly to Luxor, and we will be going on a beautiful boat. We have this boat just for ourselves. And when I say boat, like, maybe you have seen pictures on my website already. If not, go and check it out. it's a very beautiful big boat. It has a yoga shala. You have a beautiful, like, you have beautiful rooms and everything. It's a very, very big, luxurious experience. So it's very beautiful. And also this, like, I have also so many pictures from, cruising along the Nile, seeing sunset, sunrise. It's so magical. And, it's the biggest river in the earth. And I think that's also something very, like, when I think about feminine energy, I think about water. And water, it's so beautiful for me because it's like water, like when we think about feminine, like most in the collective consciousness, many people think, oh, being feminine means being weak. Like this is still like a perception that is holding on. But when you think about water, nobody would say water is weak, right? Water has this softness, water has this gentleness, water has this flow, but water is also very strong and very, like very centered and everything. And at the same time, especially a river allows to be held by the masculine, right? You have the riverbanks and the water is not flowing everywhere. It allows to flow in this beautiful structure that the masculine is providing. So that's why I think it's very beautiful to also going through this beautiful journey these days and experiencing this energy of the longest river in the world, the largest river, the longest, and being in that, allowing this energy of the Nile, just nurturing you, fueling you up, connecting with it. So we will be on the Nile for 6 days, and we go through, like, obviously we go off the boat as well, because we going to different temples, and it's beautiful. We start with one of my favorite temples. It's the temple of Dendara. It's the temple that is connected to the goddess Hathor. And Hathor, wow, this energy of that goddess, it's just playfulness. She is like, I think, like, she is like the Greek would say Aphrodite, right? Hathor is the Aphrodite of ancient Egypt, right? She's the goddess of fertility, of femininity, of joy, of playfulness, of beauty. She's Venus, So I think going to that kind of temple is, I don't know, when I entered there, I just felt joy. I just felt playfulness. I got like these pictures, like, and like Hathor, I mean, she had around Egypt like many, many temples, but this is like her, let's call it home temple. This is the temple, when you feel like a lot of festives were there, a lot of people were coming there for celebrations, for honoring, for also learning around sexual energy, right? To honor, like, some of the mystery schools back then, like Cleopatra, Mary Magdalene, even Mother Mary, they were the most, they are the most famous initiates of Egyptian Tantra, right? Like, now we don't know all of this anymore. We think like, the Bible and everything made very different stories out of that. But connecting with that energy, with these mystery schools, with these energies of that, like back then it was not considered, like now we would say, oh, people are going to a prostitute. Back then it was not in their perception, right? It was like this initiation by a priestess, like knowing about about sacred sexuality, about tantra, about fertility, was such an sacred act. It was not something like how we think about it now, and it was really something really honorable. And people who were like trying to conceive a baby would be going there, and like there are like a lot of stories how this happened. And there's like a lot of different energies, and it's very interesting because there are not many books about that. This is knowledge you cannot read in books. I mean, there are maybe 3 books that I could tell you to read before, like I think the most famous one is the manuscript of Mary Magdalene, right? Which is also channeled, where, it's like her message from the mystery schools about little bit about Egyptian Tantra and her relationship with Joshua, like what we would call Jesus now, so, but like other than that, like everything we know is channeled. And it's also when you are there and you receive that information, all of a sudden, and it's like, and you're like, wow. And in this temple, and we also have a beautiful tour guide with us, and he's also knowledgeable about Egyptian Tantra. So I'm also quite excited about that, because in these engravings in these different temples, there are a lot of energies already mentioned. And it's so cool, like when you think, like even giving birth, for example, the way that women were giving birth or breastfeeding, all of that was so normal back then. It's even in the, it's even engraved in these temples, right? So yeah, it's very magical. I don't go through every single temple, but I will give you some of the highlight energies so that you kind of know what we are working with. We go to another temple. It's the one of Sobek and Horus. And this is a very interesting one because it's connecting, two different energies and two different gods in one temple. And Sobek, like maybe you have seen it, it's the god with this crocodile head. It's really like he's kind of the god of the underworld, and this energy of him is really more like the shadow god, right? And it's very interesting because when you think about it, it's also what we have, right? It's like when you think about the reptilian part of our brain, is really what is activated when we are scared, when we are in our shadow self, when we going through shadow work, when we are going through fear, the reptilian part is taking over, right? Like even though how much we are activated, how much we know, when we are fear-based driven, the reptilian part takes over. So I think it's a very, very beautiful to be at that temple, right? And then you have Horus, which is like, in the Egyptian world, Horus is considered like this golden child, this golden god child, right? I mean, the energy of this love between Isis and Osiris and being created, this. So it's very interesting to have this dynamic of, say it, shadow and light in one temple. And at the same time, it reminds us how it is connected, right? We cannot have one without the other. So it's not like a battle or something. I mean, Mohammed, our guide, he will tell us different about, the mythologies and the battles between these gods and everything. But it's also really good, like I think when you think about our own journey, when we are evolving, when you think about expansion, when you think about growth, there's a part that needs to die, right? Especially the fear part that needs to be released at some point. And the shadow self that we are kind of, need to release some layers. So it's a very, very different energy. And when we also think about polarities and dualities, and yeah, ultimately, it's also going back to this energy of loving that as well, right? Even loving that struggle and loving that growth process and this transformation process. So this will be also a very, very interesting temple to visit. Another temple, I'll be going to talk about two more temples, which I think are very important, and then I'm opening it up if you have any questions. One other temple we're going to visit is also recorded, or like it's dedicated to the goddess Sekhmet, which is the lioness goddess. And I love the energy of Sekhmet. It's amazing. Like for me, she is like, like, I love also the energy of a lioness, right? When you think about it, like this caring, like when you think about a lioness, I'm thinking it's like you have this beautiful caring mother energy when she's with her children. She is amazing, right? But if you attack her, like, she would fight, right? Not she would fight, she will fight. And like a lioness is very much respected, right? The energy of a lioness. And I mean, she is also the one hunting for food and everything, right? So I feel this energy of Sekhmet is really, when we think about it, it's really related to our solar plexus. It's about willpower. It's about courage. It's about realigning also this energy of being fierce and being gentle at the same time, right? Because sometimes, especially as women, when we are going into this work and we are thinking about boundaries and something, right? We are also a little bit afraid that like, oh, all of a sudden we will be too hard. We will be, we don't want to be like in this, as I said in the beginning, this penis heart energy, right? So I think Sekhmet is really also this beautiful energy of this goddess of playing that and really embodying our willpower, embodying our strength, really our strength, our energy. So I think this temple is really also something to extremely look forward to. And at the same time, in ancient Egypt, Sekhmet was also a goddess that was kind of feared, right? Because when Sekhmet was, people also say, or in the ancient traditions, they also say she was like the shadow part of Hathor, or when she was angry. So, it's very interesting because it also shows this very fine line of going too much into rage and everything, and how this can take over when we don't know how to deal with our emotions. So I think especially when it comes working with sexuality and sexual energy, like especially in female sexuality in general, both in men, but also for women, this topic of expressing anger, this topic of expressing grief is something that is still, it's still suppressed a lot, right? And it's still, we compensate that. Like most of the people compensate it with many different ways, and many people still don't feel safe to feel these kind of emotions. So really realigning that, allowing our bodies to feel that, knowing we can feel rage and grief without it taking over, without it taking control our life. Because really, when rage and anger get like destructive, is really only because we have suppressed it too much. So it's also about embodying and knowing how to master emotions, how to work with these emotions in our body without the fear that they will control us, because this only happens when we suppress it too long. So this will be also very interesting, and also the exercises around that will be also a lot of fun. And then one last temple. There will be still, I think, one or two more, but I think I want to give you the ones where you already can feel I'm most excited about. I'm also excited about the other ones, but I'm feeling these kind of energies give you a very good insight of what we are really going to travel through, right? So we will end our journey in the temple of Isis, and also in the Isis temple we have private access, and I'm so excited about that as well. And what is really, really beautiful when we think about Isis, the goddess with the wings, I have her here, and she's standing also there in front of me on my desk. She's like this energy of this mother goddess, right? And she's the representation of unconditional love. When you read the story about Isis and Osiris, right, this beautiful connection between them, and then Osiris being killed by his brother, and all of his parts were like everywhere, and Isis would fly over the whole world really to collect his pieces, and then she put his pieces together. She breathes air back into him. So in ancient Egyptian, we also work a lot with the component of breath, the ankh, the breath of life. So she breathes life back into him, and with that pieces, she gets herself pregnant and gives birth to Horus. So really, when you think about that energy, it's amazing, right? First of all, this love, this unconditional love towards her beloved, then really, going into this mother energy and everything. And so this is a really, really beautiful energy of, I feel, ending that journey. I was considering if we start or if we end with that, but since it's about expansion, going out of that energy, because when we think about bringing in life and creation, this is all what sexual energy is about, right? And it's not only when we have penetrative sex with a partner. Really, sexual energy is the energy of creation. So when I'm talking about this kind of energy, obviously it's also more than giving birth to babies, even though babies are absolutely beautiful. It's giving birth to everything. And since it's all about expansion of your own evolution, it's giving birth to you, new version of yourself, right? To you, new whatever you want to embody, what really your soul came here on this journey. So ending with that temple and that initiation and having a closing circle there, I think it's beautiful, closing with the energy of a new beginning. So yeah, I'm really quite excited about it. And yeah, so you can see, like we go through these different places, we will see, you will get much, much more information for yourself, and you will get whatever your soul is desiring to receive there. And at the same time, it's also nice to see already, like, it's a journey, it's a physical journey, it's a journey on so many other levels. We will be working with all these different beautiful archetypes. We will be working, like, I mean, I will guide my facilitation very intuitively, because I know that the energies in Egypt are very strong. So that's why I don't want to prepare like, this is the schedule and we're going, you know, we will work through the schedule, because I'm feeling it needs to be fluid, because the energies are very unique. Everybody of you will have different experiences. So my facilitation will work around that to really make sure I will be Isis in that case, like with my wings and being there, like providing a safe space for you to really surrender into whatever wants to be, so, you know, expressed and experienced for you, so that you can feel safe in that experience. And that's, you know, also we are in a different country. It's very interesting, because we travel through all of that, and, you know, on the outside it's very, especially sexuality is very suppressed, right? So it's very interesting to work with these energies also in that. But, you know, also I think it's beautiful, because every time when I work with women from the Arabic countries, once they open up, there's a lot of energy, you know? So I think it's a beautiful dance with duality that we're learning there, and that we will be experiencing while we are there, especially when we work also with sacred sexuality, and also, you know, channeling all this information from Egyptian Tantra, and a lot of breath work, which is amazing, because really, I mean, as you know, I'm also doing theta healing, so there will be like different other things, but, you know, playing with this energy of breath, praying with this energy of embodiment, it's really beautiful. And then whatever else will be needed, will be needed. Yeah, so that's the journey that we are going to experience. Maybe one, two more practical things, and then I'm opening it up if you have any more questions. So yeah, practically, so we will be starting on the 17th till the 27th. And you will be flying to Cairo, and you fly back from Cairo. And in between, we have 2 inland flights, which are basically included in the price. We will be staying 2 nights in Cairo in a 5-star hotel. We go 1 night in the desert after, which will be like more like a desert camp. I'm actually very curious about it, because when I was there, I didn't do that. So that's why I also felt very curious to work with this energy of the desert, really, and connecting with, especially when it goes to, you know, root and earth chakra. I think it's amazing to work with the desert. And then, yeah, we fly to Luxor and go through this. We will be boarding the boat and going to all these different temples. We will be spending 6 nights on that boat. But, you know, this boat is very beautiful, very comfortable. It's also not like very fast. So, I mean, if you get seasick, take some pills, but I don't think it will be needed, because it's cruising, you know, it's a Nile cruise, not a speedboat. It's not a Bali speedboat where you think, oh my God, hopefully I reach that island very soon. Uh, yeah, so it's beautiful. And then we fly back to Cairo in the end, and you can take your flight back from Cairo. And yeah, we have on the boat, we have vegetarian and vegan food. It will be prepared for us. In the hotel, we also have food, but, you know, it's a 5-star hotel, right? So there will be, you know, the food is good. But, you know, there will be also meat option for those of you who are very clean into vegan diets. You know, obviously there will be also in the hotel, it's a 5-star hotel buffet. So there will be also, you know, other foods, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you like, I mean, it's Egypt, so like it would be also good. Like I will also prepare some, you know, like in case you are afraid to get like little tummy problems, but normally the food and everything is quite high quality, but we never know, right? It's still Egypt, but I think on our trip there was really nothing. But yeah, it's good to keep that in mind. But, you know, like we will be when we go to these different places, besides the pyramid and Isis where we have private access, obviously we will be, you know, there will be also other people. However, we also go that, like, I know the Mohammed is also very keen that we go there at times that we like don't mingle too much. But other than that, on the boat and everything, it will be just our group. So we are really in a very like safe and space. And it's really good because the energies there are very, very interesting. So it will be very, yeah, it's good to know, like, oh, when I'm like, the boat will be your home. And you will love that home. Yeah, I'm very sure about that. It's a very beautiful boat. So yeah, so these are the practicalities. I hope I haven't forgotten anything, but if not, it's written on my website anyways. Yeah, so registration will be closing latest by 8th of August. The earlier you book, the better, really, because we obviously have a lot of organization to do. We have to book flights for you and everything, and hotels and everything. So if you're thinking about it, and if you still have questions, feel free to also reach out to me the next days, or but registration will be latest closing by end of August unless it's booked out earlier. The price is 3,800 euros, and like, if there's still availability after 8th of August, the price will go up to 5,000, but I even don't think we will have availability anymore, really. But you know, it's really because there are things also to organize, because it's not like, okay, you come to one place and then it's it. It's a whole journey, and we also have many beautiful things for you to organize. And the earlier you know that you want to come, the better. And right now you pay just a deposit of 800 euros. And then you pay 1 month before the rest, or if you need a payment plan or something, reach out to me. So these are the practicalities, and I would be opening up to questions if you have some questions.
I was just writing. I've got to go.
Oh yeah, okay.
I have another call. But what's your website?
Yeah, it's the goddessretreat.com.
Okay. So, and you said my email bounced back.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. So are you on Messenger, or how can I?
Yeah, you can I'm on Messenger on Facebook. It's Eva Reida, REIDA. Or you can also contact me via WhatsApp. IDA.
REIDA. Okay. And are you on Instagram? Or
Yes. WhatsApp? Yes, it's Pleasure Queen Eva.
Okay. I'll be in touch.
Nice. Yeah, tomorrow actually at 3 p.m. I will be going live on my Instagram account with Rachel, a lady that I've met there, and she will be sharing her experience of the journey. So I think it's also nice to just listen. So 2 p.m. UK time, actually.
Okay, 2 p.m. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, 3 p.m. German time, yeah. 2 p.m.
Cool.
UK.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 Wait.